Am I the asshole for not giving my husband my escape money when I saw that we were financially struggling? I'm a 34-year-old female, have recently ran into a situation with my husband, who's a 37-year-old male, and I'm curious about if I am the asshole here or not. So me and my husband have been together for 8 years, married for 7. When I got married, my mother came to me privately and talked about setting aside money as a rainy day escape fund if worse came to worse. My husband has never showed any signs of being dangerous and rarely even gets upset, but the way my mother talked about it, it seemed like a no-brainer to have. When me and my husband, I really don't like that. When my husband and I got together, we agreed I would be a stay-at-home wife. We are both child-free, so that was never a concern. My husband made a comfortable mid-six-figure salary. All was good until about 2 years ago. He was injured at work in a near-fatal accident. Between hospital bills and a lawsuit that we lost that ate up nearly all of our savings, I took a part-time job while my husband was recovering. But when he fully recovered, we transitioned back into me being unemployed as my husband insisted that it was his role to provide. He currently is working 2 full-time jobs and Ubers on his off days to keep us afloat. Here is where I might be the asshole. I do all of the expense management and have continued to put money into my escape account, although I significantly decreased from $750 a month to just $200 a month. My husband came home exhausted one night and asked about downsizing because the stress of work was going to kill him. I told him downsizing would not be an option as I had spent many years making our house a home and offered to go back to work. He tried to be nice, but basically told me that me going back to work wouldn't make enough. After an argument, my husband went through our finances to see where we could cut back. He was confused when he saw that I had regular occurring withdrawals leading back years and asked me about it. I broke down and revealed my money to him.
My money.
Which now sits at about $47,000. After I told him all this, he just broke down sobbing. His point of view is that I treated him like a predator and hid money from him for years, even when he was at his lowest. I told him that the money was a precaution I would have taken with any partner and not specific to him. He left the house to stay with his brother and said, I heard him on every possible level, but my mom says this is exactly what the money is for and should bail now.
I fucking hate them.
That's messed up.
I hate all of them. Anyone like that, I dislike you. I despise you. You shouldn't be married.
I think it was selfish. I think that's extremely selfish.
Very selfish.
Okay, go ahead.
She keeps saying my escape, my money,
Yeah.
my. And it sounds like she's getting terrible information from her mother, who probably went through something with her ex or in her past. And she's already said that he wasn't abusive or he wasn't dangerous. So
That was never a marriage
Can I
based
play
off
devil's
love.
advocate
No,
real
you
quick
can't.
before we start getting on the same page on the couch?
No,
My
there's no need to play devil's advocate.
well, my only statement in playing devil's advocate is I think that her mom gave her that advice because her husband insisted that she was a stay-at-home wife, which means she would have, her money would have come from him, his money, her money, or whatever. But in the case that they got divorced, I don't know what their divorce agreement or if she signed a prenup or anything like that. I don't know. But I think that was just advice so that she'd have something for herself. Because
Which
you
is
can't just like
understandable,
be
too.
at home twiddling your fingers,
Absolutely.
just being like, okay, well, I can only get money if he gets money. And if he's not getting money, then I don't have shit to do.
Well, 6 out of the 8 years that they were together, he was making mid 6 figures.
Right.
Correct? Right? So he's making money. Now, it's one thing to, have a conversation with your significant other, especially when you're married, and say, hey, I would like to have X amount to do whatever it is I want to do. Right? If I'm going to be a stay-at-home wife and you're going to be the one making all the money, I need to have access to this amount of funds so I can have fun doing my extracurricular activities. Therefore, I don't have to feel as if I'm just tied to the house. And I have the opportunity to then grow and start whatever business endeavors that I may want with the money that I do get. That's entirely different. When you're taking money and unknowingly, right, there's no conversation within you two.
It's not unknowing.
Well, he didn't know. She ran all the finances, and he had to find out when he actually had to look back
Stealing.
at it. Yeah, you basically was
That's wolf.
you're so like you're taking the money without your significant other knowing on a monthly basis for years. And not only did you do that, when times actually got rough, right? You would rather try to work than try to reveal. And that's where I really have an issue, because now I know it was never for us. It was only for you. And
It wasn't. Well, she said that. She said, this is my escape fund. So the savings wasn't for like a rainy day for them. It was her escape if I ever needed
Just
money
in case.
for
I
myself.
just hate that it's called escape though, because
I mean, that's what she called
It
it.
is a fucking escape.
Because what are we doing then? Like, are we really in a marriage that's for the right reasons? Because if I have to have
You ever had your parents tell you that you need Vex money?
Absolutely.
When you leave the house, you need some Vex money.
Yeah,
No matter if you go out
absolutely.
with your friends, you go out with your man. If you need to get out of there, you need to have some money
My
on
grandmother
you.
always tells me, like, when I'm
Same thing.
dating, like, make sure you take care of yourself. I mean, not dating, but when I was whatever, mind your business. But in situations, I've always been told to save money, and I did regret the time where I didn't. But I think in a marriage, it's different. I wasn't married, so in a marriage, I feel like your struggle is my struggle. Whatever you're going through, I should be able to help out in the situation, or like pick up where you can't at the time. So the fact that, okay, she did go to work and help with the bills, but at the same time, she did pick up and help with and work when she could. But I just feel like a secret account. She didn't. I thought
No,
she
she
did.
said she's a part-time job
yeah,
until
she
he
got the
got the
part-time
two
job.
And then
jobs.
she offered another part-time job when he said, hey, let's downsize.
Yeah.
And she said it wasn't an
But I
option.
think when she
No,
said
he did.
No, he said, let's downsize.
Let's
She said it's not an
downsize.
option.
Oh, he told her not to
So
work.
she
and
wasn't
tried
willing
get another
to.
job.
She wasn't willing to change her lifestyle and how she was living, and I think most of everything she did was selfish.
So I actually like the fact that you brought that up because, and I'm not advocating for what you did, but
Me neither. Just playing
important.
devil's advocate. That's what I did.
it's important.
Before y'all come, I know y'all like to tussle.
It is important.
Blood is hot.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
It's important for you to have your own money in some form or fashion. What man or woman, it doesn't matter. But I think the way that it appears that maybe she went about it the wrong way, but at the end of the day, whatever he was making as a spouse, she's entitled to half of that. And I think that what would have made this make the most sense and not be so shocking was if there was a simple conversation. Okay, you make X amount of dollars. Legally, I'm entitled to half. Let's figure out what if I'm entitled to half, we're going to take half from you, half from me. This is going to go to savings. This is going to go to investments. This is going to go to whatever, And I think where they went wrong is simply not having the conversation, because, I guess if he's a good dude, he would have been like, yeah, you should have some money on the side for whatever. So,
But I think that the fact that he told her not to go back to work and he didn't want her to work was the fact that, like, she was basically a kept woman. They didn't have kids.
mhm.
So it seems like the escape plan, she had this plan all along. It was never based on love.
No, it was her fucked up ass mother, right? And that's the problem. Women take advice from battered women and ruin their relationships.
I'll agree.
And some of those women is your sister. Some of those women are your sisters. Some of those women are your parent or parents, or just your best friends. And when you have a woman give a woman who may be battered and or uneducated on how marriage works or a relationship dynamic works, and they give you advice, they put you in a position where your back's going to be against the wall in a situation that you probably didn't want to do, and ultimately a failed relationship, whether it be a marriage or whatever. And that's exactly what happened. Her mother got involved and said, hey, you should have an escape plan, although there was no signs of any like
Foul play.
sorry.
See,
Financial, not just financial threat, but like separation. Like, you know, she said that he was a good guy. He was never violent, et cetera, et cetera. She was an advocate for him first. And her mom said, hey, well, you should always have an escape plan no matter what, which means that in her mind, she was never thinking about this. So now it's a woman putting another bug in her ear, and then she decided to do it. And I agree wholeheartedly with you. It had nothing to do. See, men, we really operate most times on a principle level. It has nothing to do with the fact that you had the money and you saved the money. It had everything to do that you had the money. It was your quote unquote escape plan. I never knew about it, and you've watched me struggle working 2 jobs and door dashing on the off days. So I never have an off day for however long this transpired, if it was 6 months or a year. And then when I say, hey, you know what? I'm willing to still sacrifice myself for you. Let's just downsize so I can afford it and I don't have to kill myself in the process. She refuses to downsize and says, I will go ahead and get a part-time job. Him knowing how much the expenses, I guess, you know, are to upkeep the home that they live in, said it's not going to be enough money. And then she wants to reveal when she got caught. And that's what makes a man never trust you ever again. And once that man never trusts you, especially when it comes to a money situation, when he feels like you've been hiding money, you would never be able to win that man back again.
What if she gives you the money?
few things. It wasn't hidden. The money was never hidden.
But he didn't know about it.
Yeah, but he did find out about it by going through it.
Yeah, I mean, he could have always checked all those years. He could have always checked.
She was taking the money out without telling him.
No, that is what we call willful ignorance. Like, at the end of the day, I don't know shit about how much my Con Ed bill is. But if I want to,
You can go check.
I can go check. I don't even know the total amount of our mortgage. But if I want to, I can go check. That's willful ignorance. That's not even that's not on her. That's on him. Because if you making that much money and you have no accounting of it, then really it just don't matter to you. And that's fine. But that's a risk you take. You have to understand that if you're not looking at your finances, anything could be going on with it.
So basically, don't marry a thieving woman.
She's not.
She's a fucking thief, bro.
It was their joint
He's
account.
married to the woman and she's pulling money out.
It was a joint account.
No,
It was
he
a joint
married,
account.
bro. He married a woman and said, "I trust you with the finances. Don't worry about shit. I'ma work. I'ma trust you with the finances. So if I put my trust in you to make sure that you keep the finances and you pulling money out on the low for years, you're fucking stealing."
It's not stealing.
It's stealing.
I
No,
think
no,
the
well,
trust
that's
is
the wrong
stealing.
word.
Because I trust you not to do it.
Not stealing.
I trust you to maintain the finances and put them where they belong. Not for you to
stealing.
duck them off in an escape account.
It's not stealing.
Well, yeah, just to be like
She's
accurate.
entitled to half
She
of what
is.
he brings in.
Okay, but
Wouldn't that be her fun then? She didn't need an escape account.
I was about to say, okay,
that's part of
so
it.
that
That's
is,
part of it.
I
But
feel
I
like
think
where she's
that-
going
She
wrong.
said escape account negates the fact that she's married and she's going to get half anyway. I think the fact that she's labeling it an escape account is, I think that's the shady part. But she could have said rainy day. She didn't
No,
say-
it did say rainy day.
no, not to him.
But
No, it
I
said
think
rainy
that- I
day
think
and
either
horse
way-
fund. It said both. But I want to point this out. At the end of the day, you were saying you're blaming friends and mothers and this, that, and the other. At the end of the day,
The marriage is
it's
a
not
sham.
on them.
Exactly.
It's on her. She took that information and did what she wanted to do. That has nothing to do with her mom, her sisters, or whoever given information that you may deem as bad.
Because
That
she
was
could have
her
easily
decision.
said, "Mom, mind your business."
Or she could have said, I appreciate you.
Exactly.
You know,
Some people don't
And
make
imagine
decisions
being with a
from-
woman-
So look. Although yes, there is a level of accountability for the person who does make the decision when they are ultimately the only one in control of that decision. I agree. However, there is a level of influence. And if you are under the influence and you do make a poor decision, then that person who influenced you is part to blame. Not whole, but part to blame. And literally, like, the way I look at both of it is like the mother's a co-conspirator.